Thank you very much for coming today, and thank you for inviting me. I am a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. I typically write about real estate, so forgive me if I ask questions.
No doubt questions.
Yeah, could you give us the elevator pitch?
Sure, yeah, so DJI, we are the world's largest manufacturer of personal and professional drones. We don't make the toys, we don't make the military equipment, but everything in between, whether it's something that you hold in your hand, and you fly to take pictures of your family on vacation, up to drones about the size of this table that you can hang a movie camera or a complicated sensor off of, that are used for everything from finding missing people in the dark to scanning the side of the building to look for flaws to creating a 3D model of a construction site. The original uptake of drones was a consumer product. While consumer is still the biggest part of our business, what us and our competitors are seeing is that the professional drone market is really rocking these days, because the people fly drones for fun, individuals do. Companies and governments and businesses and educational institutions fly drones because they bring them real benefit, because they can do their work faster, cheaper, safer, more efficiently, more effectively. And pretty much anything that involves gathering data, you could probably do it easier, safer, faster by doing it from a drone.
Tell us a bit.
I could do a 120-story elevator pitch if you like. That's what it makes.
Tell us a bit about the market share that you have right now.
Sure.
In
So,
the U.S. and maybe globally.
yeah, so DJI was founded in Shenzhen 13 years ago by a group of recent college graduates who were real geniuses in figuring out how to, at the essence, the core of a drone is if you have 4 propellers on something, you have a computer that can subtly vary the relative speed of those propellers. You can make it take off, move side to side, fly around. And then you have a gimbal that you attach the camera or another sensor to, have that connect to that computer. So when the drone goes like this, the gimbal does the exact opposite movement. So you end up with stable vision. So a drone can fly through choppy air and have a perfectly stable image, which is exactly what movie makers want, it's what you want if you play with a drone for fun, and it's what professional customers use. There were a ton of companies that came up with similar products around the same time, and there still are companies that are challenging us in various new innovations. We're still as big as this market is right now, we're still in the Wright brothers age of drone technology, and they are we're privately held, so we don't put out our own figures on anything, but analysts generally accept that we have about 75% of the world's drone market. The U.S. is our biggest market, China very close behind, and the journey of DJI has been a really interesting process of learning how do you take technology developed in China and bring it to the rest of the world in a way that respects innovation and deals with the cultural, political, legal, regulatory challenges of bringing that technology everywhere.
I've got so many questions.
Sure, fire away.
With that right now. So one of the things, and it's not just DJI that's facing, even tech companies in the US are facing issues about data privacy. And DJI had been singled out by the US government before. There were concerns that DJI might be sharing sensitive data with the Chinese government. Could you tell us a little bit about where?
So the underlying fear, if I can appropriate the language of our critics, the underlying fear is somehow that when you fly a drone over your backyard or over your oil installation or your power plant, that you are creating a live stream of very precise data that's going to get sent straight back to China. And in the wildest imaginations of our critics, they think that the Communist Party is handing them over to the People's Liberation Army so they can create a map of America and someday invade. I mean, there are people who truly think this. These people apparently never heard of Google Earth. But the fear exists. And I think, to be candid, DJI was at some level slow to recognize how badly our technology would be misunderstood for whatever motivation. Because we started out making drones because they were cool, and it was fun, and it's an amazing new technology. And if we were a military contractor, we would have been baking in high-level encryption into our products from the day we wrote our first line of code. That's not how we started. That's not what we were about. And at every step of our evolution, we have seen products that were made to be cool and have fun at first get adopted for tasks, for amazing tasks that they weren't even engineered for. So people bought drones because it was fun, and they said, hey, wait, I could do that to inspect my roof rather than have to climb up there when I have a roofing contractor. And all of a sudden, companies are using drones to inspect operations that are kind of sensitive. And at some point, someone in the IT department would say, hey, have you ever looked at the software and seen where it's going? And they come to us and say, no, we wrote the programming for this drone so you could go out and take pictures of your kids in the backyard. So we've had to go back through and re-engineer a lot of our processes. And as we've done that, we've had to confront that this is the fear that our worst critics have, or the worst fear that our critics have of us. And the solutions that we put in place are designed. We will never convince some people's minds that we're not immediately sending your data back to China. We're not. This is not spying technology. So what we've done is we've made sure that our technology ensures that any data you capture, when I say data, I'm talking about the photos, the videos you created with your drone, the record of where you were flying and when, and what altitude you were at, and things like that. That data never leaves your control, unless you want to. We have a social media style sharing site where you take cool pictures and videos, you can post it on and show the whole world. If you want to upload, if you want to live stream from your drone to Facebook Live, you can do that. If you don't want to, we make sure that the technology blocks any transmission of that data. Nothing gets sent to our servers, nothing gets sent anywhere on the internet unless you choose to do it. And we hired a cybersecurity firm to go through all our codes, come at us, do the worst we can, and a few small bugs, but they said, your products do what you say they will do. Some people will never be convinced of that. And that's why we've taken the approach that your data is your data. Your data is not our business. Our business is making cool hardware and the software to fly it. Our data, our business, unlike some companies, is not about taking your data and finding a way to monetize it or do something else with it. When you fly our products, you keep control of what's on there. We never see it. We don't want to see it.
I must say, recent drone coverage and video that I've seen would be the scenes in Hong Kong, the scale of the protest there. So one of the things that we found out were how people were wary about facial recognition. Is that something that other AI companies want to partner with you, and would that also be something that you vary off? Or?
I actually don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of companies that would love to line up and sell facial technology, facial recognition technology to anybody who generates images of people's faces. DJI and that, I don't know of anything like that in particular. We don't do anything like that. But whether you make surveillance cameras or cameras on the street or anything else, I'm sure that we can have that done to it. We're in this weird position that we have limited control over what people do with our products. At the very worst, you can go on YouTube and see incidents of people using our drones maliciously. It's the same as if we made pickup trucks or knives. You know that sooner or later, you lose the ability to stop people from doing things with real intent with them. So as with kitchen knives and pickup trucks, you know that the world is full of examples of people doing good things with them. And analysts have to work on.
Okay. Maybe moving on to the business side, can you tell us a little bit about your international strategy right now? Do you make presentations where people ask you the name of DJI? Do they have questions about the Chinese influence that you might have?
Yeah, sure. Depending on what sort of market we're going into, we have salespeople who work on big commercial accounts in very sensitive industries. Power lines, for example, obviously, transmission, distribution, utilities, and generation. They have an extraordinary interest in making sure that all of their systems are hardened. So they have, we're very lucky because our technology is objectively the best out there. Most people in the industry would concede that they like certain things that other products do in general. Our products do the best thing. So they want to keep flying DJI. If you need to fly a $20,000 or $30,000 drone packed with sensors next to high tension power lines that are fully energized, and you need something that will stay stable, that won't start flying off on its own, you want our products. So they come to us, if we want to fly yours, we need to make sure that data is secure, and that we have the same level of assurance as we would feel if we bought something 10 times the price from an American company that started out building products for the military. So the onus is on us in these situations to show all of the safeguards that are built in so that to know that their data is secure. And look, a company headquartered in China, no matter how global we are, we operate. I don't know, we should put this number together. We operate all over the globe, and we don't think of ourselves internally as a Chinese company. When I'm on conference calls, it's all hours of the day and night. There's probably somebody in Hong Kong, but there's usually somebody in our Frankfurt office and someone in Australia. And, we are trying to, and this is part of the process of going from a Chinese company to a global company, is learning how to have consistent messaging, marketing, meeting consistent technical expectations around the globe, while understanding what's motivating people, not just on a sales level, but on a policy level, on an appreciation and understanding level in countries all over the world.
Can you tell us any interesting uses for the drones? You mentioned you could power on sensors on the drones.
Yeah, every day we are stunned by, and I think literally every day in our Slack channels, we're passing around cool new uses of drones that nobody ever thought of. Anything that needs sensing can be done. I got a query today from scientists who have mounted a sensor to measure volatile organic compounds, flying it over the Amazon. And my understanding of why you need to do that, it stops right there, but they're using it to sense levels of some sensitive gas involved in something about calculating climate change, which never would have occurred to me, people who develop these drones never occurred to them. We see an awful lot of uptake by scientists because it turns out one of the most common causes of death among biologists is helicopter crashes. For biologists who study the tops of trees, forest canopies, or birds living in high areas or extreme environments, they have to get in helicopters. The helicopters have to get relatively low, a couple hundred feet above ground. And this is something I didn't know before I started working here, and this is true in cinematography as well. A helicopter that has something go wrong at 350 feet has a lot less room to recover than a helicopter at 3,500 feet. That's where you want to have drone. And when you apply that, not just in movies and science, but all sorts of undertakings, helicopter crashes are also one of the leading causes of death of utility monitoring and repair people. Falling off of construction towers is a big cause. So things like that were really saving lives.
All right, last question.
Maybe I could open up to the floor and put anyone would like to ask.
So how soon will it be before you can scale up to being a flying car?
The question is, how soon until you scale up to having a flying car? We're not pursuing that. Other companies are. There's a Chinese company called Ehang that several companies have. Every time you go to a drone trade show or consumer trade show, you'll see somebody's mock-up of a flying car. They look real cool. They look really nice. You take pictures, you send them to everyone around. I would not be the first one to fly in one of those. Drones are part of the reason that and I think there's a good lesson for hardware firms especially. That's part of the reason that drones have so rapidly become standard equipment in so many businesses around the world. You're used to seeing drones at things now. Is because they're relatively safe. That if one falls out of the sky, unless you're flying over a crowd of people, which you shouldn't be doing, you lost a piece of hardware. That's not true with helicopter drones. So they don't have to. If the FAA is going to certify something to fly in the air, you have to pass an awful lot of tests, like almost literally down to how strong the screws are holding the pieces together. With a drone, something doesn't work today, you can try something new tomorrow. Boeing can't do that, Airbus can't do that. So someone will be in a flying car relatively soon. It's not going to be one of us.